We join just as Ty enters a broken window on the top of a plateau known as Blue Falls, a town filled with new magitech as well as a new blooming community. In front of him is a lit candelabra during the dead of night. The dim flickering shows the lifeless body of someone they know as Selray, one of the Twin Shields, the council of adventurers who have taken over the governing body here in Blue Falls. Ty, you step through the glass, you look around, and you see the flickering light and this body face down in front. What do you do?
Fuck. The first thing I do is pull my weapons out, and I'm just doing a quick scan to see if we still have any assailants in here or our murderer is here. You know, just a quick glance around.
Hi.
I'm ignoring them.
Okay. As they continue to fight through the door down below, or also try to call up to you, you start to focus and try to see if there is anyone nearby. Go ahead and make me an investigation. With an 18, with a quick cursory glance, you are unable to see or to track anything nearby. Nothing physically or forensically is out of place here, as the only thing that you could notice is the glass that was burst, or at least the shards of glass that were on the sill of the exterior of this room or this chamber.
And she's definitely dead.
Lifeless body. She doesn't look to be breathing as you take a moment after scanning the room and start looking and start waiting for any sort of undulation of breath. And then the grim sight of a dead body and the certainty of it would sink anyone's heart, but I'm not sure if Ty would be so affected by the sight of someone
No, I don't
lifeless
think so.
like this.
And there was a lit candle in the room.
There was a lit candle, yeah, a candelabra.
Perfect.
In the corner.
I'm just lighting that.
Yeah. Okay. I think as for a quick moment, you scan the room and then you saunter over to the candelabra and light the cigarette. There's still your friends outside calling up toward you, or also the rattling of the door down below that you can only assume is coming from Smith.
Yeah, I'll head down and unlock the door from the inside, open it, and
Door pushes open
It's
abruptly,
me.
Smith.
What's going on?
you ain't gonna like this. Upstairs.
What's upstairs? I start walking upstairs, slowly, and I'm scanning around, looking for anything out of place from the last time I was here.
The last time you were here, I believe you just met her on the exterior, and then she walked you up towards the keep. So a lot of this is unfamiliar, but it is very easy for you to figure out how to get upstairs. But as you do, it is a slow, emotionally cumbersome walk for you, Smith, as you begin. It seems like every step takes years, as millions of thoughts are rippling through your mind about what could be.
That's another one. It's another one.
You step.
Another one you killed.
You step.
Another one.
Another stair. It creaks underneath you.
It's your fault.
You lift yourself higher. Your legs start to burn just for a moment.
They're here for you.
You remind
They're here
yourself
for the Entente.
of the pain and the ache that you have to bear every time you take a step in the armor that you wear for someone else. Your foot falls on the last step as you make your way up toward somewhere would be maybe
You
this
think
corridor.
my parents felt this way?
Maybe
They
the
came upon my body.
left corridor, maybe the right, but you do find your way into the room of Selray. I think for a moment maybe it's a sense of denial, but you check these
My
other
wife
rooms
saw the same sight.
before you start to then find yourself into her sleeping chamber. And when you find yourself in this room, there is a lit candelabra. There are no footprints on the floor, at least that you can tell. Most of it is a hardwood floor here, except for a furred rug of some sort of beast that she seems to be on. There are no footprints out of place here on that small, hair-lined rug.
You're a murderer, you know what to look for.
But you do see the dark blue robes, the familiar hair, windswept, but now messy and out of place, with a shock of pale blue stripe running down the front and now the back of it when you see it from behind. A lifeless body of Selray. There is a candelabra flickering with one lit flame that immediately takes you back to earlier that day when she lit the candelabra at the keep before she inspected your armor.
You can't get close to anyone without getting them killed, can you? This is your fault. This is your fault.
Any idea what happened?
I'm going to start looking around, see if I notice any clues.
And we gotta be careful, by the way.
Oh. Give me an investigation. With disadvantage, Smith, because you are inside your own mind. With a 15.
The other roll, the normal one, would have been a natural 20, by the way.
And I should show this because it's funny. Yeah. You're right. Natural 20. Too bad. So, as you start to look around and you have this, I think there is a moment where you begin to start investigating as you would normally in a forensic type situation. You've seen other, sworn take up the job of investigation and try to do some of this forensic deduction. And you have picked up on various cues on how to navigate a scene like this. But I think inside your mind, something gets in the way. And I think to us, who is not Smith, we start to see Smith haphazardly start tearing apart the room, looking, hunting desperately for some sort of clue, passionately, as things are starting to get knocked over. I think at some point you may kick the rug out from underneath the body, just looking for anything. But this happens over a course of a couple of minutes.
That's a bad idea. First of all, we don't want to make it look like a robbery. That means it's more likely to look like it was us.
I hate to retcon anything here,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I don't think that I would do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Super fair. I didn't roll it. You didn't roll a 1 either, so yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I imagine myself being very methodical
Mm-hmm.
and trying not to look at the body while this is happening.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll look at the body.
Okay. So you're looking pretty much everywhere else.
Yeah.
That makes one of us.
I'll figure out how this person died.
I will also look at the body with him.
Okay. All right. So could I get medicine checks from whoever's looking at the body?
As a group or individually?
Individually. You all have
Okay.
different skills in different places.
Oh. Well, it makes sense because I'm not in the right mindset for looking at dead bodies today. I rolled a natural one.
Jet with a
With a
natural
+7.
one with a +7. Jet, immediately you can't quite see anything. She just seems to be lifeless. It could be anything, but as a cursory glance, you can't quite tell. Ty, the same with you. You sort of how do you all sort of do this? Are you moving the body?
for
Are you
blood.
examining? Are you looking for blood? Okay.
Is it a
I'm,
knife or some other thing? Bludgeoning, head twisted off.
Mhm.
You know.
Were you about to say something, Smith?
in terms of the way that I'm investigating here, I'm going through things like a procedure. It's very methodical, and I'm looking for anything that's out of the ordinary first and foremost. Secondary, I'm checking to see any points of entry aside from where we saw Ty enter, and then I am looking for any signs of a murder weapon.
Okay.
I would also like to detect magic.
Of course you can. With the detect magic and also the 15, as you are looking through and trying to figure out what has happened to this body, it is hard to see any sort of physical evidence except for some blood around the ears and some from the nose. Jet, these things, these hints and clues, I think, are unavailable to you as you just sort of haven't noticed it.
Right.
But, Ty, you were able to see and notice that as well as Varsha. Smith, you can deduce that, unfortunately, there is no hints of any sort of entry point, which could mean several things. There has been several jobs you've been a part of that could mean someone snuck in at some point without them knowing and waited. It could also be some of the more dangerous of those you have taken in were able to somehow phase through, teleport in. There are some ways people would be able to misty step into a location like this, for a lack of narrative and more game terms. There are things you can, there are ways in and around which are unfortunate in things like this, which then leads you to believe that maybe it could be a spellkin. And I think around potentially that same time, the detect magic, Varsha, plus your 15 does reveal something. But I would like to know what it looks like as you cast this spell in this moment. I know last time it sort of looked like a laser grid of arcane webbing, and you plucked a string and were able to sort of find out where that was. But in this case, navigating through this arcane isn't necessarily, you know where it is, right? You don't need to locate
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So what does this look like now as you use this?
So I think we'll stick with the webbing, but
Okay.
it's going to look like everything leading to specific points. Like multiple strings now will be leading
Yeah.
towards, say, her mind or brain, because I'm assuming she had some sort of psychic damage done because of the ears and the nose.
Yeah,
but
go ahead and give me an Arcana check just so we can see how this detect magic affects everything.
Sure. And then if there is, because I believe detect magic allows me to know the school as well. So it would be like,
Mhm.
I guess I would see sort of like a mist probably that clings to her and around her, almost like a foggy aura.
Yeah.
That would be in a color of the school of magic I would probably identify. And that's personal to me. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily something that, it's just probably what I would associate to be with a particular school of magic. And then I also look at the candle.
Okay.
I'm looking around the room, I suppose.
Yeah, so as you start to cast Detect Magic, a distortion of dark, I want to say energy, lack of word, but like a dark fog starts to sink around the area, which indicates some sort of necromantic energy. The distorting also represents some sort of psychic energy. As both of those sort of conflicting movements sort of ink blot that area. The webbing, the arcane webbing, that sort of points you in different directions, I think you would see as like a starburst coming from the mind of, or coming from the head of Selray's corpse. Just sort of spans the room in like some sort of arcane galaxy map or projection as it sort of lights up the room, but every strand of this light sort of points to, and I think it represents, in this moment, usually these strands are straight and also maybe wave and move with the breeze of the arcane, which is usually pretty subtle, or if you're in a pretty Spellwind active area, they would sort of ripple and distort. But in this moment, I think this webbing or these strands of arcane light represent more of like a three-dimensional shattered glass in this area, an image you haven't seen before or had to interpret before. As it starts to then dissipate as you feel a gust of the arcane wind just lift it up, and it goes and dissipates as your detect magic does as well. Okay, it's up to
Basically-
10 minutes actually, so you can keep it going if
Yeah.
you want it, but it's just a wave and flicker.
Whispering this information to Ty, because I think we're next to each other looking at the body, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't really want necessarily Smith to hear everything I'm describing, because I can tell he's pretty upset. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
tell him eventually, but just right this second.
You'd probably see him just kind of drained of emotion, and it'd be very reminiscent of, well, you've seen me like this before.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know if I understand it exactly. I've never seen it present itself this way before. It's like smashed glass. Well, we know it was psychic damage. I mean, that much I guess is pretty clear.
I mean,
What?
she could make all these spell sales and that, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to be pretty fucking skilled to take her out now.
And where from? The door was locked, no? The window was propped open. So,
No,
no?
the window was smashed.
Was smashed open. Okay. I suppose it's worth a try anyway. Averting my gaze from the body, I am going to pull out a flask. It has this light blue liquid inside it, and it's kind of fluted at the top. I'm going to put my just wet my finger and rub it against the edge of the glass, and I'm going to. This is a wand of secrets,
Okay.
and so for those that don't know what a wand of secrets is, you can use it to expend a charge and look for a secret door or a trap within 30 feet of you. It's worth a try, I suppose, in case the window is a red herring.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. Arcana 18.
You can as well, Varsha, because you are still concentrating on detect magic.
Mm-hmm.
Arcana.
Oh, I thought you were saying I can, and then you were going to tell us what
Oh
we
no,
see.
I'm sorry. You can also make an Arcana check.
6.
Okay, so as you're probably distracted. Jet, I think you see as you are using this reverberation, I think you see there is a ripple in just a standing space, or not like a ripple, like a distorted strand, just in standing space in the room, not maybe 2 feet from the wall.
In my mind, I'm visualizing like when they have those drawings of bats and echolocation like that, but maybe colored or
Sort
something.
of. Yeah, I was visualizing a, those floaty things you get in your eyes that sort of just like
All
are
the
always-
time.
Yeah, those weird things, but like a
Okay.
long strand of it in static space, like in front. Just this weird, distorted rift of information.
Okay. I look towards it and I try and get Vasha's attention as I just raise my hand.
Or
I
she
nod
just
at him.
gestures towards this.
Yeah.
I think at this point, since you still have your detect magic,
Yeah.
you start to see some of these cracks and fissures of, or striations of your detect magic start to then crack and crinkle toward whatever this strand is.
Can-
I'm not sure if you've ever sort of seen this magic before. Go ahead, what were you going to say?
No. I was just going to say, like, I walk toward it, and can I interact with it? Can I touch it?
I think as you go to touch and interact with it, it starts to then, as if it was some sort of a large, like a thin column of water in submerged or submerged in zero gravity. You kind of touch it and it just sort of disperses for a moment. As
Water?
then it starts to. It's not water, but it feels
Okay,
like
but it feels
could
like
be.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it feels
okay.
like it could be water. I think you would know, or at least you would have studied or heard about it in your as your profession working for the Sworn. both you and Smith, and potentially Jet as well, that this is the reminiscent, like a footprint of magic. It's like the negative. It's still in reality for a moment, but the footprint is fading away, and that's what it is left. Strong magic can do that, and something, whatever it may be, left this footprint here just for at least this time for you to see.
It's where magic isn't what was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Must have been quite strong.
There's no signs of a break-in.
Usually found in reality bending stuff. Go ahead.
Oh, like the cloak. Right? The cloak that I have from Tenno is that kind, right? Or no?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So it looks similar. All right. Interesting. No, not that I can see. But there is this here. I don't know, Ty, Smith, I don't know if you can see this, what we're looking at here. It's like some sort of signature that a spell of great power was used.
Trying to visualize how you would see this. But I've pulled up my helmet, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
might see me do something strange with my goggles. Something doesn't quite seem right for a moment. You might catch some strange hand movements. Something you've never seen me do before, Varsha.
Okay.
And I look like I'm adjusting the goggles, but I sort of snap my fingers and like I'm pulling a string from the side. You can see them begin to illuminate in purple veins of energy moving through them. And I will also cast Detect Magic.
Okay. As you
Whoa.
begin to fine-tune your goggles and adjust them for this space, what does it look like we see as if we were looking through your goggles? Give me an Arcana, just in case. See if the Spellwind interacts with you.
It's I rolled that with disadvantage, but the 17.
Mm-hmm. All good.
I can see the Spellwind moving about.
Okay.
I can see it flowing around. And I can see like the lightning that crackles around my gauntlets. It's purple, and it seemingly branches off from the Spellwind in different ways. And the colors begin to shift. And I can start to see a vague representation of what I've seen before. And I keep to myself. I've seen this with the various schools of magic when I've been investigating Spellkin.
You recognize on the readout of your goggles some necromantic readings as well as psychic. You also, I think, start to see both Jet and Varsha sort of they're sort of giving a part of the room a little bit more attention, and as you turn the goggles on and focus, you start to then see whatever your representation of this footprint of magic.
Necromancy. Very powerful.
Isn't necromancy supposed to raise the dead, not make it?
That's not all it does.
And what does that leave her, if she's been affected by it?
Could I get all of you to make a perception check, please?
$13.
15.
5.
Jet, you hear and then you sort of look over toward the window with the broken shards of glass. You notice a familiar looking avian creature. It's this about a 18-inch or so owl. Instead of feathers, it has these tiny stalagmites and rivulets of stone as it tries to crackle out this a hooing or a hoot that an owl would. As it sort of hops around, you hear a crunching of its feet as it crushes into powder the shards of glass under its rocky talons, and then for a moment you see its head is sort of looking around and inspecting. You could see it's sort of inspecting the whole of this window, and then you see for a moment it look directly at you, and then it takes off.
Did you see
into the
that?
night.
What?
What?
Mr. Smith, did you see that?
I'm looking around. I didn't
Did
see
no-
anything. What did you see?
Something flying, something big, something like an owl, like a bird, but not.
Boom! I popped
nature.
a flying potion and I'm gonna go after it.
Okay. You chug the flying potion and you leap out the window, I assume?
10
Yep.
minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. Barsha leaves. I would assume like Peter Pan out the window.
Yeah, I run to the window to see her go, but then just turn to the others and shrug.
Okay.
What did you see? Something flying? You didn't see what it was?
It was a creature not made of. I can't believe you didn't see. It was. I don't know how to explain it. It was okay, like a bird, but instead of feathers, it had stone, rivulets of minerals. It ground some of the glass and left.
Could have been a familiar.
It could have
Could
been.
have been. Could have been.
Some sort of elemental, I don't know.
Could have been some kind of. I've seen artificers that could bring their creations to life.
Like necromancy you're talking about.
I don't know.
All right, well, what are we going to do? We're going to tell people or get the fuck out?
Would they believe us?
I don't know.
Trying to avoid looking down the whole time.
I mean, you came here earlier on, didn't you?
I did.
On your own?
I did. They might suspect me. It is your fault, after all.
I'll be honest. Whatever the fuck this is, not really our problem. We've got bigger fish to fry. I say we just fuck off out of town. Tomorrow morning, act none the wiser. Leave it to the town guard and that.
They probably heard me yelling.
I go downstairs, run out the front door, and look out for where Vasha is. The last time she had this potion, she didn't fall, but I don't want to lose her.
I'd follow him just naturally, but I also just let Varsha fly away. She likes to fly off sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Varsha, how are you at chasing stuff? How are you at tracking avian creatures that have flown away?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how clear the sky is, because I can't imagine it's that difficult to see a creature flying away from here if the sky is clear.
Unless they were flying low.
Unless they immediately flew low, yes. But I mean, tracking spellkin was my job for a very long time. And my detect magic is still up. So if it's a magical creature in nature, I imagine.
Okay, yep, okay.
I can probably still see something, assuming it is magical in nature.
I think you do start to... I'm trying to just think about the representation of this laser webbing grid and how that would affect here. With your detect magic still up, considering you were able to use a potion instead of break your concentration for this, it was very hard for you to make this... Could I have an acrobatics check as you jump out the window?
Yeah, absolutely. 16.
So you're able to jump out the window. I think a small crack or a small shard was added onto the hole that was there. Tampering with evidence, only a little bit. But you were able to then make your way out and not cut yourself or crash through the window more than it already has been. Then could I have... I need a character sheet. What is... Then could you give me a survival or an investigation?
10 for survival.
I don't think you know which way it went. But after a moment or two out here and sort of floating in this space, you start to see or notice that there are some torches that have been lit recently outside. And that sort of worries you for a moment, spikes the anxiety as people may be waking up. There may have been a commotion. And also, just at this moment...
activate my invisible cloak.
Okay. It's not invisible though, is it? It's the distortion
No, it's
one?
like, it makes me look like I think I'm a chameleon, but
We are
only in
officially
specific...
too strong.
Yeah, only in specific situations, I think.
Yeah, it's the displacer, the cloak of displacer beast.
Yeah.
So like you people have a disadvantage on hitting you. Anyway, so as you're sort of floating there for a moment, the door opens behind and Jet and Ty come out as well.
Okay.
As you're starting to like figure out which way it went.
I shake my head. Still looking around for it, but then after probably 30 seconds of not seeing where it went, I'll float back down. I don't even really know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything.
It was worth a try.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. People are starting to wake up, though. We should probably go.
The thing we saw upstairs, the sliver.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom what it was. Mr. Tai, you want us to just leave?
I mean, we didn't kill her. Ain't nothing to do with us. We got shit to do. People die all the time.
Is there any way they can link it back to us?
I mean, potentially.
Not unless you did it.
No, but this
Well,
was
then why
one
would
of
they
their
link it back to us.
one of their leaders. They don't need a good reason to go and look for us, you know? To
I mean, we are the newcomers to town, and Smith did spend some time with her today.
Yeah, but we're going to be halfway to High Hollow by the time they figure it out.
they're going to want somebody to blame.
So, let them do their own investigation. They'll find the real killer.
As long as they don't send people after us.
I don't know, it feels connected somehow. Otherwise, why was I shown the way to it?
I don't know. Spellwind bullshit.
What showed you?
Feeling a sound. I heard something, and then, I mean, you saw, I left and immediately started walking towards where I felt it pulling me. It's the same thing as the cave that one time before, where I just knew where to go. It was like that. It feels, in that way, it feels important somehow.
All right, where do we go then?
Every time it's happened to you, has it been the one to reach out to you, or can you reach back?
I think I can reach back now. Maybe.
Yeah, just be careful, all right? Spellwind ain't your fucking friend.
I nod meekly. We trust you.
And I try to listen. I feel like I also disagree. I feel like I feel a gut reaction when he says the Spellwind is not your friend, where I'm like, that doesn't feel right to me. I feel like it's been my friend my whole life. My only friend, sometimes.
Would Varsha say something about that?
No, I just think it. But right now I'm trying to listen and I'm trying
Just
to
sort of
tune in. But I
throws you off
do
guard for a
feel,
second?
just
Yeah.
for a moment, I'm like, well, that's not true.
Mm.
Like, I remember a very specific time when I was young where I felt all alone except for the Spellwind.
Okay. In this moment, you try to listen to the wind, try to listen to whatever reached out to you before.
Yeah.
Make me an Arcana.
Seven.
Close your eyes. You listen to the spell sails and their gossamer canvas flapping anti-windward, reminding you that you are in a place where the Spellwind should be. But you don't receive any response back that you can
Fucking
interpret.
Spellstorm was a bloody super friendly part of Spellwind, weren't it? Remember that?
Yeah. We escaped the sworn that was most definitely chasing us.
Or the forest fire?
Yeah. I don't feel anything. Perhaps it heard you say we weren't friends.
I ain't no friend of the Spellwind. Never have been. Fucking thing. It's a fucking nightmare. I wish it'd just go away. We'd all be better off. You'd be better off.
Ty, make an Arcana check.
Wow.
Holy shit! What does this mean?
I don't know.
Dude!
What did you just say? What were the words you just said?
I said, I wish that there was no Spellwind. We'd all be better off. And then I pointed at Varsha and said, you'd be better off. I pointed at her scar, to be honest, on her face. I pointed at Varsha and said it.
Oh. I am no longer Spelkin. Removed of all magical ability.
Oh my gosh, it deletes you.
Back to level 1 to start again as a fighter.
Imagine if I
Oh,
deleted the
God.
Spellwind, the literal
John.
title of the show.
Yep.
It'd be awesome. I'd be
Low
a
health
god.
run.
I'd be the new God King.
Low health run. I think you. Wow, what the hell does this mean? Brad, what do you think happens here?
I think that Spellwind proves me wrong.
Yeah, I think they give you the opposite. Like, suddenly you know where to go. So the Spellwind
What-
is like, fuck you.
Whatever she was looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah, you
Yep.
probably.
So, I'll give you some context, which I know that I've touched on with Ty a little bit, but I think this
You also have
maybe
message
is
innately, right?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Ty was trained very young by Lorcan to be a mage, but the reason that Ty has spells is because Lorcan was training him, and it's not that Ty wouldn't have made a good mage, it's that Ty, I think, subconsciously when he was younger and then as he got older, more
Rebellious.
consciously rejected the Spellwind because the Spellwind showed him that vision of his family burning and being killed so vividly when he was younger, and he's always had that rejection of the Spellwind because of that. That's why he doesn't like it. It's why he's afraid of fire and things as well. And so from Ty's perspective, it's the opposite of what Varsha is experiencing, in that it's always been her friend. For Ty, it's always been a very dangerous thing
Yeah,
for him.
instead of winds, it's been flames and smoke for him.
It's fire and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's the same feeling of like when you first touch something hot as a kid and you learn that something is dangerous.
hot, bad.
He's aware that it can be utilized and he's not entirely afraid of the Spellwind, but he sees it as a thing that's very dangerous, and also underneath it there's a layer of trauma. And I think this would be an instance in which Varsha says that it's a friend, and Ty's subconscious would war with the fact that Ty trusts Varsha very much and has split us off from the main entente sort of to start her own cell based on that trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so his subconscious would now go, Spellwind bad, trust Varsha. And then whatever
Whatever happens here.
whatever the Spellwind mixture is that hits here
Yeah.
allows Ty to tap into whatever it is that Varsha was seeking to show him why
Can I
she
yes
trusts it,
and
maybe.
you? Yeah,
Yeah.
can I yes and you with that? Can I just say you like experienced the time in which similar to the vision that the Spellwind gave you of your family burning, but it's when I felt alone and the Spellwind was my friend. Like you experienced that from my perspective, like my memory.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. Cool. So that means then probably so
Spellbond.
Yeah, Spellbond,
We
yeah.
gotta rebrand the game. All right,
dude,
so I think
that's super cool.
yeah. So I think as you
Well, maybe you get the fear that I have. I mean, you already kind of know it because I told Varsha,
Yeah.
but Spellbond.
Yeah.
We just
You get-
we just both experienced that really quickly, like, and now I know innately. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I sort of knew, but now I know for sure why you fear the Spellwind and why.
I think that's
Yeah.
what happens. There's a
That's
trade
super
for a
cool.
moment where a breeze of memory blows through both of you, but it's not your memory, as I think Varsha, you experience, and you start to picture your friend or whatever it may be, whatever this entity is that the Spellwind may be. Whether it's a voice, whether it's this melodic vibrations, or whether it's this quantum wind that blows in a different direction than how the world works. For a moment, you see the particles of the arcane wind sort of blow through the area in sort of, I think you were looking for comfort in response to the words that Ty said. But for a moment, those particles turn to sparks, and then also a wave of flame sort of whip through just this space for a second as you sort of snap out of this quick vision in a cold sweat, just a little bit more in this understanding of how Ty feels about the Spellwind, but on more of a collaborative level, as you were able to see and understand Ty's fear. Ty, I think for a moment, as you say this, you also feel a same sort of breeze whip through, but as it does, it starts out as this hot flash fire that usually leads you sweating, and in this time of dread, we would see your pupils widen. We would see also, or we would hear your heart start to race and your stomach sink as a pump of adrenaline usually is this response to just how the Spellwind interacts near you. And for a second, you expect all of this to happen. A rush of this hot flame starts to then chase your emotion, and then you're left with just this moment of peace for a second as you feel, and everyone watching Ty, your hat falls off of your head in a direction probably anti-windward, as if the Spellwind itself interacted with you. Hat flies 10 feet from you. I think, though, as you go to retrieve it, don't have to retrieve it, but as you go or look over in that direction of where your hat flew, you see a familiar Goliath. It stands about 7 foot tall. Looks like a person has been slightly elongated up to his natural height. Gray skin, bald, has a hook nose as well as a pocked face. And you recognize him to be Uru. On his shoulder is a rock owl.
Oh,
So, why are you up?
I'm putting my hat back on. I look over at Valsha a second and then turn back to Uru. We got something to show you.
Right.
You see a cursory glance as you start to then look around, and you start to notice over the rooftops of some of these houses are some of those scouts from before, the ones that met you on the eroded switchbacks. They start to creep up out off of the or up on top of these rooftops, and they do look like they have they're prepared for some sort of conflict.
well, hopefully they saw us arrive.
But why
How
would they be
proficient are you with like magic and that? Got any mages in town? Investigators, that sort of thing?
What are you saying to me?
I'm asking if you've got any mages in town, whether you're proficient with magic, whether you've got any investigators of the arcane.
I will investigate. What happened?
Well,
I
you're an
know
investigator.
what I saw, but I want to know what you saw.
All right. You start to hear the creak of crossbows load and clicks as bolts are placed in the chambers.
It's unusual for Ty to really like take lead in a conversation, so I think I'm a little impressed, taken aback a bit, but I'm just gonna let him lead the way.
I turn away from him and just start walking really casually back towards the door. Come on.
Make me a persuasion as you just confidently walk off.
I will assist him by also confidently walking with him.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
You have
I get
advantage.
advantage.
Yeah.
I think that means you have advantage.
17.
I think for a moment he's sort of confused at the actions. Sort of makes a hand gesture for those who are still watching Uru, and then Uru starts to follow. The rock owl on his shoulder starts to then go and perch next to this break in the window.
I'm super calm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We arrived about 20 minutes ago. And unfortunately, she was already. Yeah.
She's brown bread, mate. She's dead.
I think before he enters the home, I think he gestures to a couple of the scouts, and 3 slide down off of some of the slated roofs, and they land and accompany him into the building. They do start to look around the best they can. They are led right
I wait
up.
outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are led up to... Smith, where are you at this moment? Are you in that room still?
Swapsies.
Swapsies.
Yep.
Which is the technical term.
That is the production term, yes.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. And I can't hear you. Okay. Hold, please.
Check.
Yes, there we are.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was,
I don't know how long. Were you trying to chime in during that scene at all? I'm sorry. I don't know if you were muted.
No.
Okay.
While they went downstairs, I stayed at the top of the stairs, and everything got very shaky in my vision, and I kind of let them walk down, and I put a hand on the wall to steady myself, and everything became too much. I started breathing heavily. But I couldn't let them hear. I couldn't let them see me like this. I put my hand on the railing and a hand on the wall. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. This is happening because of you. It's happening because of you. Hold it together. Just hold it together. Everything. Everyone that you've ever killed. Everyone must have felt like this. The families. Everyone. I sit down hard on the top of the stairs. My feet fall out from under me. You killed all those people. All of them. I try to regain my composure, but I keep hearing your voice. I'll keep working on it, even if you don't want me to. My hands are shaking. I can't focus. I can't.
You. Get out. We're investigating. Hurry.
You now see Uru standing over you.
What did you see?
See?
Yes. I don't have time for lies. You best speak true.
Necromancy. Necromancy's been done here.
Necromancy?
He turns and looks to some of the scouts. He looks back with a little bit of confusion on his face.
I think you and your friends should come with us.
I stand up. I still have the helmet on. I don't even realize.
Mm-hmm.
And, I look down at my hands. I make fists. And the helmet retracts.
Good.
There's, redness around my eyes and tears have been streaming down my face.
I think you see, for a moment, you have a very good skill at reading people and their emotions and if they're trying to hide something. But I think for a moment, as you sort of, whether or not you're looking at the ground during this very emotionally exposing moment for Smith to retract his shield after, or his mask after this, excuse me, all these words, this helmet after such a emotional event, I think whether or not you're flicking your eyes up at him, you notice that Uru's brow sort of softens for a moment as he is taken by surprise by what is underneath. Not your face necessarily, but what was represented on it. As he, I don't want to say gently, but he and the scouts eventually, if you let them, lead you out of the house.
I just let them take me.
It's not as aggressive as you would think. You are very surprised considering all of the training that you've gone through for such I guess, riot control or how to treat potential prisoners. They don't seem like I don't want to say they don't know what they're doing, but I want to say that they are more amateur in security than you would in your training, as you are. And eventually, I think everyone, or you are at least led outside where everyone else is, all of your companions, as they've just been waiting for you. And I would assume that your mask or your helmet is still off. There's still this redness around your face of these raw lids and raw cheeks of where your salted tears once drenched.
Yes.
You all see that as Smith is led out, not really in handcuffs or anything, but led out with escort away. And you are bid to come along as well. You, Jet, you, Ty, and you, Varsha.
What's going on?
Someone's been murdered, Varsha.
No, I know, but... And I'm looking at Smith, who's clearly... Are you still wearing your mask?
No.
Who... is clearly having a meltdown at a dead body, which I've never seen before. At least not like this.
I'm just following them. I don't answer.
You all begin marching, unless you aren't, but
Yeah,
Smith.
no, I'll go with if Smith is going.
Smith starts to walk away with the crowd of scouts. Varsha in tow.
Yeah.
Ty as well. Jet looks around, uncertain.
I guess we have no choice. I follow.
Well, I mean, yeah. We do, but not with Smith like this.
No.
You are all led to a cliffside with ladders that go up in these rickety wood bridge switchbacks that go up to each one of these little porous-looking cells. There's not much here. There is a small bedroll. There is also, it looks like the ground is barbed with spikes. So in case anybody was to try to jump or climb and lose their footing, it would be very unfortunate for them, as you are peacefully taken and suggested to stay at least the night in these cells.
Did they take all of our weapons and things?
After some time, they do.
Okay, I have...
They would not be able to take
Yeah.
my
They
wouldn't
armor,
take-
unfortunately.
They wouldn't take Smith's armor. Yeah, I think after some bickering and some figuring out, they would try, and then it would come back. So
How well did I search me?
okay, not
Yeah,
very
I
well
would-
at all. I rolled a 1.
All right,
Oh,
then
okay.
I've got a dagger and a set of lockpicks
Okay.
secreted away.
Okay.
I've probably got lockpicks in the hat, like proper Peaky Blinders style. There's probably
Like
some
in the seam. Yeah.
thing in there, and there's probably a knife, like in a boot. You know, like
Mhm.
a
Prison
very
wallet.
small,
Right in the
thin
prison wallet.
blade. Yeah, in the
Did you say-
side of my boot.
Did we say prison wallet? Yes, we did.
Yeah, no, I don't have a knife in my prison wallet.
Okay.
That would be awful.
So Yeah, you're able to sneak a couple of things in there. Smith, you
In my
are
prison wallet. Oh,
Yeah.
in the cell. Sorry.
in the
Okay.
cell,
Yeah.
And Smith, you still have your armor. They try to take what they can off of you, Jet. Whether or not that is you have a bag of holding, right?
No,
No, you
it's
don't.
just a bag of, it's a bag of holding, but it's just a bag I used to hold things. It's not enchanted.
Oh, okay. It is a holding.
It's a
Wait,
literal
what?
bag of holding.
yeah, it's just a literal.
It's a bag that you can hold.
Uh-huh.
Right.
It's a
Didn't you put
clutch.
my armor in it at some point? Though?
At some points, but it's no longer that
Oh,
way.
it's no longer that. Okay.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
was like, holy shit.
Yeah. So whatever.
Just casually like, yeah, let me just put it in my holding bag over here.
They rolled a 1 in searching you, and it's a 7. Doesn't matter. They rolled really low, and also they sort of trust you for the most part.
I think
But
at
they-
some point I would say if we did it, we wouldn't have stayed.
Right.
you know,
yeah,
so
exactly.
we're
they're-
cooperating.
they're
We'll
the
help
fact
you.
that you're cooperating and all
Yeah.
of this, and you're Uru does explain that there will be you will see the council tomorrow, and the Twin Shields will hear about all of this, and we'll talk about it
Yeah. All right.
in the morning. But for now, a cold wind blows through and sort of hums much like a wind chime would, or like a wood flute, across the face of this cliffside where these cells are. You could sort of hear a humming as the wind blows through here and resonates through these chambers. It is a very horrible sleep that you do receive in these cells and in this holding. What is it you all
So-
do for the rest of the evening while you're here?
I'm
Is it
perfectly comfortable here.
Okay.
Is it cold out here?
It is a bit chilly. It's just it's the wind here. It wasn't cold down where the wind wasn't blowing, but it's definitely here is a windy spot. So you get a lot of that just night air blowing through.
Sorry, are we in cells right now?
Yes, you are in
Individually
Outdoor
or
individually. It's a cliffside rock face with a bunch of porous pocks in it, and each one of those are big enough for a cell. There's a bedroll or so in it, and there's a bunch of barbed, wood sharpened posts down at the bottom in case anyone wants to slip and fall. There is a patrol that watches the cells, so not many people are just going to leave. But as far as like talking and such, you can still sort of talk through one another, but there's sort of these porous cell bunks, I guess you would say. And there's a interesting wooden switchback that goes haphazardly up through and weaves through this area.
Okay. It is just for personal effects, but I'm going to grease up my bars with a substance from one of the pouches I have, and it's going to cause the bars to warm up and just make my cell warmer.
Okay. Using heat metal?
Not heat mess up,
No.
prestidigitation.
Okay. Yeah, the bars start to radiate heat. Every once in a while, a breeze blows through the area. Anybody else doing anything or what they can do
I
here?
am you might hear me muttering here and there.
What are you
Speaking
muttering?
to no one in particular. We led them here. This is our fault.
What are you talking about?
They gotta be here for us. They killed her because of me, because I talked to her. They killed
What
her.
What did you talk about?
I'm just pacing like back and forth in my cell. I don't know. Are we able to see each other?
You could hear each other.
So you can probably just hear me walking back and forth and pacing. And muttering and say, I shouldn't have talked to her. I shouldn't have gotten her involved. We should have just gotten food and we should have left. Got no business ruining these people's lives. What if they go to have Toki next?
What did you talk about? That would have endangered her. Would have been worth killing her over.
Just like you do in Varsha. Just follows me around. I either kill people or they die around me.
I would like to try to comfort him magically with the Spellwind, if I can do that. It is not a skill that I have yet, but it does exist in this universe, and I want it one day.
Okay. Make me an Arcana check.
Hey.
And we'll just see.
21.
So close.
Fuck, so close.
What were you aiming to do?
Um,
What were you imagining would happen?
there's this paladin skill that's like sort of kind of a benevolent soothing that you can do that can buff or calm or comfort people. So it's something like that. Yeah, something along those lines where I'm basically asking the Spellwind to comfort him the way that it does me, because he's clearly like not doing well and he's not hearing me either. So there's nothing I can do.
Calm emotions?
Yeah, something like that.
Let's see if we can finagle something. Let's twist the rules. You can cast second level spells?
Yes.
Did you used
I
to have
can.
calm emotions as a paladin?
No, it is in the maybe one day future. It's in the other one that I don't have yet.
So, interesting enough. Why don't you go ahead and do you have the spell points for a second level spell?
I do.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and you
Just
can
use them as if
use
I've
them.
cast it. Yep. Okay.
+1. You have 3.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
Okay. And you can use calm emotions here, but you have to tell me what happens. And of course, Whack, you don't have to
Yeah, I don't want
comply.
to. Yeah, I don't. It's not a
but-
forced calm emotion.
yeah.
It's just something that would
But
be soothing. Hopefully.
Varsha, because right now, narratively, you're in a pretty windy spot. A lot of the wind that's blowing through here, you have the presence of these spell sails just in the distance, sort of reminding you about the Spellwind. I think Varsha is very confident in this moment. Whether or not calm emotions is passed in an arcane way, or she just literally says all the right things, it's up to you completely. But I will let you, for the cost of the spell points, try this. You just have to let me know what you're doing.
I rolled a natural 1 on my wisdom save. I'm not paying attention to what she's doing, but I think I can. I start to breathe a little easier. And I just close my eyes. I rest my head against the wall. unintentionally in the same direction towards Varsha.
Yeah. And I'll do the same on the opposite side. And I think it feels, because I think you and I are probably the only people that can experience this, but it feels like when we were in the tree a little bit, that like really comforting, almost euphoric state, just a little bit. I don't want it to be, robbing you of this moment of processing, because I feel like this is incredibly important for you to go through, but I do want it to take that edge off so that you can hear me when I say, you aren't doing anything to me. I'm happier now than I have ever been. I'm free. And we're saving people. And I don't think that this is anything related to us. I don't think she was killed because of you. But maybe the reason you're here and the reason I'm here is so that we can find out why and who did.
So tired.
I know. I got a ways to go yet. Just hang in there.
I think she was the first person that understood.
I'm sorry.
Told you before. Don't apologize. You should never apologize.
I'm not sorry because I feel responsible. Sorry because I know it's painful. I do think we'll find more people like that out here, though.
Maybe.
Look at Aftoki, look at here. Everywhere we've gone so far, there's been at least one.
Maybe this is the punishment.
What, having people that care for you?
Losing them.
Maybe.
After a night of a pretty restless sleep in the cliff cells of Blue Falls, a patrolling scout guard of Yuru and his men watch the party and the potential perpetrators of a assassination from the night prior. The morning, or the moonlight from Geoloon starts to then crest over the horizon just ahead as all of you start to either wake up or wait, as you have probably waited throughout your evening for this moment. Whether or not you did find rest or not is irrelevant, as the moon of Geoloon starts to crest and signal day. You are not soon after brought down off of the ramshackled boardwalks of this cliffside cell as you are walked toward the keep. A sight that is foreign to you, Smith, as this keep holds many more people. Once empty keep of Blue Falls, where you, not 24 hours beforehand, or whatever the average day of Hearth is, which I have yet to determine, 24 hours beforehand, have been standing with Selray as she was inspecting your armor. You remember her lighting a candelabra as well as she looked around, and her voice echoed through this empty chamber. A beautiful sight for those who haven't been here, a finely polished marble floor, a masonry that is not completely, there's the clean edges of mason bricks are not in this keep, as they sort of seem as they found the perfect stones to fit to create these walls here. A once empty chamber is filled with several people of town. They do look at you as if you are ridden with the crimes that you potentially have committed. News this far has spread pretty quick, as the armored denizens of Blue Falls, with their hides and their quilted tabards and swords at their hips. Some of the fisher people you saw from the upflow earlier are also here. And you're brought to the center of this reflective court space. A large window opening looks across toward the western side. Now everyone else can enjoy that beautiful view of Evtoki as you did yesterday, Smith. But in front, right before this large viewing port or this large viewing window, are 4 seats, 4 chairs. Nothing too special about them, but the only thing I think special about them is there are 3 people sitting in these chairs. One is Brakida, the chef owner of the Upflow Inn. The other is Dosane, their brother, or at least that's what they've been saying. Dosane, the cleric of the title father. They all wear these pins with this double crested shield. And also you see that tall high elf from before as well. He's got like a gold ruddy skin, long white hair pulled up into a top knot, also wearing one of these crests. Not necessarily wearing, I think, the over robe that the others do, but you still sort of see this noble, his version of the noble attire. And they are sitting there, and you notice that their faces are riddled with emotion, whether it is frustration, anger, sadness. They all have their various emotions. I think on the high elf, maybe a bit more stoic and stern as you approach. Uru rings out into the chamber.
They said that It was necromancy.
And you do see and hear some murmurs sort of chirp in. A couple of people start to look over toward Dosane, who, a cleric of the Title Father, does mention undeath before in his ramblings yesterday. There is a little bit of an awkward moment as that was brought up, but I think that is then cut short by Uru's continuation of this.
I think it's best we see who is true. I am no twin shield, but my trust in them runs truer than I am certain most of you.
Uru at this point sort of bows lower than you've seen him bow before and sort of disappears into the crowd. The high elf stands up.
Well, if this is true, then they'll have no reason.
And he starts to pass back and forth behind you all, not unlike a shark ready to eat, as he starts to slowly just pace around you all.
Then they're not have anything to hide versus all of Blue Falls.
Turns and looks toward the crowd that is starting to then find their own viewing toward the four of you standing in front of this council. And Brakida chimes in and says,
Sit down, Oster. No reason to make it so dramatic.
Dosane looks and sort of pats pats Brakida on the knee, and Dosane stands up. The cleric from before, his beard is parted now and tied behind his, I think it's parted now and tied into a ponytail behind his head, exposing this coiled, boned eel around his neck as he stands. And you start to see, in this awkward silence, him fish out this dried kelp and seaweed and start dusting it around in a circle of where you all stand. He then instilled this, the only real things echoing through this chamber are a couple of murmurs here and there, but also I think his heavy footfalls as this stout dwarf walks across the chamber for a moment. Above the doorway is a sconce of what looks to be fish bones and skulls. As he pulls a ladder and it creaks awkwardly as it echoes through the chamber, he climbs up and grabs a skull from the top of the chamber and plucks a couple of bones from this adornment and fastens it in this circle. He then pours out what looks to be a water skin of some sort of liquid. You would assume salt water. As it sort of mists into the air, you start to feel and smell that permeated salt water smell as it starts to steam, as it trickles onto the circle that it has created with the sea kelp. He then,
All right, if you all could stand out of there, one at a time. You.
And he points to you, Jet.
You first.
Okay. I have nothing to hide. I'm going to step forward.
All right, then it's fine.
He holds his hand on the skull that is in this circle. He murmurs something in Dwarvish. For those who speak Dwarvish, he's praising something about the Title Father and some poem about truth and rivers, water, salt, and the flow of honesty within one another, and places the skull once again. The dried seaweed starts to then flatten as moisture starts to then wick into it from, you would assume, either the area around it or this divine magic. They start to then dance upward as if they were on the sea floor, just in this circle around you.
Okay.
And this kelp starts to dance, and you immediately are compelled to tell the truth, as Zone of Truth is being cast. There is a moment where Dosane then makes his way toward the chair and sits down next to an empty chair. Oster, the high elf, stands up again.
So, tell me, did
Yes.
you kill Selray?
No, I did not kill Seri.
Sort of looks you in the eye for a moment, confirms with Dosane, who then nods.
What were you doing prior to the death of Selray?
I was asleep, and then I heard a noise in the corridor, and I followed my friends. They heard a noise. Miss Fasha, she said something was calling her. We got to the building, and the window was broken. Mr. Tai, he went upstairs and unlocked the door. We went inside, and she was already dead.
Oster looks over at Dosane. Dosane grumbles a confirmation that this is the truth.
Why are you in Blue Falls?
A pin could drop here. It is deathly quiet, as seemingly everyone in Blue Falls is here and quiet in this moment, and has been this entire interrogation.
We are traveling east.
Why?
We want to go to the Solstice Academy. We need somewhere to be safe.
So you chose Blue Falls?
It was on the way. And it seemed like a good place to stop for a time.
Fine.
In this moment, Oster sort of hints for you to leave the circle.
I walk out of the circle.
You.
Points to Tai.
Come on.
A bit of murmur starts to happen and echoes through the hall. As you make your way over, Dosane stands up for a second, touches the skull one more time, and then makes his way back to the chair.
Did you kill Selray?
Can I smoke? Or is that going to fuck up whatever this is?
You see that Oster looks at Dosane. Dosane, some good smoke.
Yeah. We can smoke.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't kill Selray.
What were you doing, Briar? Selray's
Trying
dead.
to sleep.
All right.
I turn as if to walk out of the back door of Rose.
Hey. Hold on.
What?
What are you doing in Blue Falls?
Staying here as we travel through. Also wanted to pick up some whiskey.
His eyes sort of stay on you for a moment. He looks for confirmation on Dusain. He also looks over to Brakida, and Brakida sort of nods.
Why?
Because we needed somewhere to stay.
Where are you going?
Might as well stay here. Trader's Reach.
Looks over to Dosain. Dosain sort of closes his eyes for a moment and gives a slight shake of the head. Oster then goes,
That's not true.
It's true. It's just not my final destination.
looks over toward Dosain. Dosain sort of shrugs.
And where's your final destination?
Why do you need to know that?
Figured I'd ask.
How do I fight against the spell?
Make me an Arcana. With advantage because of the Spellwind last time.
20. Not a natural 20.
That's okay. 20's pretty cool here. How would you want to fight against this spell? You want to try to lie?
I
break
want
the
to
spell?
basically... No, I want to answer his question with a different truth.
Okay.
And when he asks me the question, I almost say pendulum, but what comes out is, like, I don't even know I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But I say, if you force me to answer that, I'll have to kill everyone here.
Sort of gestures for you to leave the circle.
Appreciate it. Good luck with your investigation.
You.
Smith points toward you.
Come on.
Dosain stands up once again and touches the skull. Same sort of ritual that you saw him before. Sits back down.
What's sworn like you doing in Blue Falls?
I am no longer sworn.
How long? You killed Selray?
I don't think so.
What are you doing in Blue Falls?
Trade stop. Resting.
Where are you going?
East.
What were you doing prior to the events last night?
We had food at the inn. And then I had a conversation with Selray.
What happened in that conversation? What did you talk about?
My armor.
Your sworn armor.
Yes.
How it could kill her?
No.
What did you talk about?
We talked about the spell sales. We shared interests. She was a very brilliant woman. I don't often get to speak to people that have a knowledge about the Spellwind and how it interacts with magical artifacts. We had a long conversation. It was... She was very kind.
What do you mean that you don't think you killed her?
I didn't kill her directly. And I'm hoping my past didn't follow us here.
I think we're all interested in knowing what your past is. Especially if it's going to uproot the safety of Blue Falls.
We'll be leaving soon anyway. If you want to keep the safety in Blue Falls, then it's better you don't know who I am.
Strong words.
Looks over to Dosane. Dosane nods. Gestures once again for you to leave the circle.
I turn around and begin to walk out. Before I leave,
Walk out like the main entrance, like exit the
no,
building. The
circle.
Okay.
Before I fully leave, I just say, I'm sorry this happened.
Come on. You. The next. Where did you get that mark?
I assume you know.
What are you doing here in Blue Falls?
Passing through.
Did you kill Selray?
No. I am sorry she is dead, however.
We all are. What were you doing prior?
I'm sorry. How big is the radius of this spell? It includes me, but no one else?
Yep. It's 15 feet
Who said that?
radius.
That we're sorry that she's dead?
Oster,
Okay.
the guy interrogating you, the tall high elf with
Yeah,
the
okay.
white top knot, yellow skin. I don't remember what my question was. What were you doing prior?
I was alone in my room at the inn.
You have to try a different answer. That one's not true.
Yes, it is. May I roll charisma to lie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're including this this god, but when I spoke it, I was speaking true.
Yeah, give me charisma.
15? I don't know what the spell save is.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. 7.
Your friends could say the truth, but you can't. Why is that?
I was alone physically. And who's he looking back to when he's confirming?
Dosane is the
okay.
cleric who is
Yeah,
sort
okay.
of reading the circle and
Yeah.
understanding the magics of your lies or
Yeah.
deceptions or truths.
Yeah.
He's the one reading the magic.
Were you talking with someone then? Or some sort of... through your mind?
Not like I imagine you are trying to twist it.
That's how it sounds.
Right.
And what happened?
Are you religious? Do you pray? Do you meditate?
No. Not me.
Well, that explains why you don't understand it then.
No, so you were praying.
Sort of. I think that's the best way for me to explain it. Yes.
Looks again for reassurance from Dosane. Dosane nods again.
Fine. And you were doing this the whole time?
Yes.
Where are you going?
East.
How did you find Selray?
I heard a noise that disrupted my meditation or my prayer.
What kind of
Led
noise?
me outside. Some sort of disturbance, like a clanging. It sounded like it was right next to me. And then when I came out of my meditation, I realized it came from outside. I just followed it.
And that led you to the body
To
of
her
Selray?
door. To her door.
To a door. How did you get in?
The door opened.
All right.
Sort of gestures for you to leave the circle.
Uru,
Yes?
come here, please.
What?
I need you to stand right there.
All right.
What happened last night? How did you find them?
Hiroki was taking a night patrol and saw the window break, or a broken window.
Yeah, then what?
Well, Hiroki then found me and relayed the information that there were people here or in Selray's room. So I went and grabbed the scouts and we went to assail them. It took a bit longer than I wanted, but we were able to still.
Right. So you saw them before they went in, or after?
They were already inside. Well, there were some outside.
Then what?
Then we went in to secure the area. The armored man was on the stairs weeping. We escorted him out and reassured them that we will get to the bottom of it so we could secure the area.
Right. How long have you been working with us?
5 years. Ever since I came up for work. You don't remember?
That's not the question I asked.
Are you suspecting me?
I'll ask the questions. Do you have any future plans for Blue Falls?
I don't know what you mean.
You know what I mean. Answer.
I was hoping that maybe someday I would be able to take security and guard under my wing and become a twin shield and sit at the table. But that's far off, I think.
Sit at a table? You mean in this empty chair?
No, I did not mean for it to sound like that. Not at all. I want to sit with you all, not have to take it.
You're a lucky man.
Why?
The spell ran out. Hussein?
Hussein stands up again and holds his hand on the skull, mutters the same prayer that he said before. The kelp starts to dance again, reactivating the spell.
You want to answer that again?
I don't remember the question.
You were planning to take a seat.
No, it's not true.
You said more things, didn't you?
Yes, I said that I will long amount of work, hard work, will get me to be noticed and things, and I don't understand this line of questioning.
Go on.
Thank you.
You see, Yuru bows once again, backing out of the dancing sea kelp that represents this zone of truth. And then Oster goes and sits down. The kelp still dancing for a moment as it starts to then fall. And Dosane stands up and says,
I have another idea. There is one other person we could question, but I don't think it's for the weak of heart. If you all don't mind,
all of the twin shields, Brakida and Oster, look at each other. They nod, and Dosane sort of goes over to Yuru, and he goes on his tiptoes for a moment as Yuru bends down.
of course, yes. Of course,
And Uru sends a couple of people with himself out of the court for a moment. They come back with a large, looks like a large woven thatched bed. On top of the bed is a body of Selray. The body of Selray, as she makes her way in, there is a cloth over her, but this cloth does seem to be a tangled netting of different, it looks to be the same sort of material as a net would, but it looks like it's been deconstructed and reconstructed into this tapestry, or at least this shroud, as she is brought forward. Several of the scouts, including Yuru, bring her forward into the circle. And at this moment, I just want to check in and know what is going through each and every one of your minds as this is happening, especially Smith's.
Oh, fuck, I hate ghosts.
So how is Ty reacting? Is there a visual reaction we see from Ty from this? Or is he just like, this sucks, and just holding it in? Or is it that face there?
It's that face.
Okay. Is that, oh boy.
Ty looks kind of bored.
Okay.
And then they're like, we're going to do some ghost whispering things. And he's like, oh.
Okay.
Doesn't like ghosts. And tenses up a bit more. But I think that's about it.
Okay. Jen?
We are innocent. So this is all theatrics to me.
Mm-hmm.
Although I am curious about this magic that they're
This
going
part.
to do. Yes, this is very interesting, but I don't know. At the moment, I am very convinced in our innocence, and whatever happens here can only help to absolve us. Exactly.
Fair.
I hope.
Varsha?
I was fully in my own brain for a bit because I have been thinking, I'm not sure if this voice I'm hearing is real or if it's some sort of trick or illusion. And the fact that I just had it sort of confirmed by someone else saying you weren't alone in the room, making it very real to me. I've been thinking about that, but then I think as they start to cast this spell, I kind of check back into the situation. Is this a necromancy spell that they're casting right now?
I am almost certain it is.
Who's casting it?
Dosane?
Um, I would like to cast Detect Magic, which I know seems silly because I know he's casting it right now, but I want to see if the signature is the same.
What does it look like for us? Who can't, I guess, who can't see Detect Magic, but is seeing your actions as you do it? What does that look like to us watching you? And if I was a spectator watching this scene unfold as a denizen of,
Yeah, I
how
think.
would that look to me?
Well, I'm clearly thinking about something else, and then I look at him cast, and it's kind of this moment of recognition of, oh, I see. This is. I was wondering if it was one of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, him going to cast this, I kind of just tilt my head a little bit, and then maybe we just see a small gust of wind, but nothing else.
Uh-huh.
Like my hair kind of moves a little
Flicks out
bit.
for a moment.
Yep, just a second, and then I cast this as discreetly as I can.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to see if the signature's the same.
As you're able to then like blink and flick your eyes open and watch and look and see and start to then sense the magic that's being cast. It is necromancy, but you aren't reading any other distortions that you were also getting from
Okay. From a super high level.
right, or and also from what you saw in the room.
Okay. Great. And that's it. And now I'm probably paying attention and focusing. Yeah.
Smith? A lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think when they brought her out, everything just kind of tenses up. It's all, I'm sort of extremely tense. And, as far as what I'm thinking, it's probably me trying to convince myself that I did not do this. Varsha said you didn't do this. It wasn't us. You didn't do this.
Smith, make me an Arcana save. An Arcana check.
$19.
You start to notice, you've seen this spell done before, I think, in cases in Evervale. Of course, only sanctioned, marked clerics of the God King are able to utilize the magic inside the kingdom. You have seen this done before, not in this way. There is a part where Dosane picks up the skull and he starts talking to it as almost like as if it was the skull of Yorick. He's having a conversation with it, but it's not talking back. There's no real theatrics to what's happening. It just sounds like...
I'm sorry, just to clarify.
Yes.
This is the skull?
Yeah, no,
They
not
removed the skull?
not the skull of Selray.
Okay.
This is a skull that was adornment. Yeah, no, that would be completely different.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Different reaction. All right.
Yeah, different reaction. This is a skull that was used as adornment that he used also as like a spell focused for the circle. But he's her body is still there, undesecrated at all. But he's having this like mad rambling, or what it seems like, with this skull for a moment, and then he places it down. And as he does, I think the skull itself starts to then move, like roll backward on the floor. It's still facing Selray, and Selray, her head starts to crane upward. Of course, Varsha, you see this entire time these words coming from Dosane's mouth and into the skull, as if like this tendrils of dark smoke, as if You could see the necromantic magic working. And then as he placed the skull down, it sort of, as it rolled its head back, a cloud of darkness or this necrotic energy sort of engulfs the area, making it hard to see. And I think at this point you may need to blink out of seeing this dark cloud of where Selray would be to then be able to read and see Selray. But back for us who could only see not magic, her head cranes up. Her neck goes forward as she's laying on her back, and then she starts to slowly creak and sit upward. She's now facing the door away from the council, and then her head slowly starts to then turn backward, facing Dosane. Dosane places the skull again, touches it, and then the kelp starts to dance. Now, sitting upward, facing a different direction, is Selray, and her head turned around. Her eyes are still a little clouded and still a little closed, and she looks relaxed and peaceful, but in this very grotesque position. As Dosane sits down and tries to concentrate on this spell, and Oster, the high elf, sort of stands up.
Selray? Selray? Can you hear me? Selray?
And he tries to check in with her. I'm trying to see if it's... Yeah, and then he sort of looks over at Dosane. Dosane, they'll take it. And he stands up and sort of brushes Oster to the chair.
Selray?
Yes.
What happened?
Where am I?
You're with us. You're with friends. It's all right. Do you remember what happened last night?
Yes. I was getting ready for bed. Studying what I took of the notes of the man's armor. And tried to help.
Selray, you remember what happened after that?
Her eyes start to unfocus, and she starts to take in the surroundings.
Selray. Selray?
Yeah.
What happened? Last night? What do you remember?
I felt a chill, but in my mind, like everything was being wicked from me. I was alone.
You're alone?
I wasn't accompanied with the Spellwind. It was dead. Silent. Not silent. Deafening. In the sense that I was dying.
How do you know how it happened? What, do you remember anything?
I turned to see in a panic before I lost my breath. And there was a person, their eyes of blue flame, cowls of purple, dancing in and out of the breeze itself. I've only heard of such assassins.
Do you remember who it was?
No. But they're watching.
Dosane, now sweat dripping down the side of his face, sits down. The kelp around the circle sort of falls limp.
I'm sorry we suspected you.
And starts to look at each of you.
It was for our safety. I'm sure you understand. Did you not see anything like this? Do you recall any of this?
As there's no circle anymore, you aren't standing near it, so you could lie if you wanted, but it does seem like Dosane, the cleric of the Title Father, is being genuine here.
I look at Varsha.
Yeah, I just kind of nod over and then look back at them. Just like I did now, as I'm sure you noticed. I tried to sense something, anything, but I just saw kind of negative space. Just a very powerful spell, necromancy, but that was it.
Necromancy?
Yes.
Anything else?
What do I know of the... Well, I feel like I do know this.
Mm-hmm.
I
Probably.
what do I know of the... Yeah, the
Way
I
of the
forget the-
Grasp.
yes. They use necromancy, right?
They use a combination of spells to sap the spellkin targets. What do you remember, and what have you heard as Varsha about these potential people? And I also want to know what Smith knows about these potential people, if Smith is catching on to it.
Well, I think that they're boogeymen, I think,
Okay.
probably. I don't think I've only heard about them.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they are very scary, very powerful, exactly like was just described. But it doesn't make sense to me that they would kill her for maybe attempting to take off Smith's armor. Like, that feels like, why not just go for Smith then? You know, it feels strange. And from what I understand, they do hunt down spellkin that defect, basically. Like us. Like, they would be hunting us. So now I think I'm thinking horrific luck. Like, because she had a mark too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking, oh, they were hunting her. She's here. She's not supposed to be here, and or she's was working with the God King and was no longer, and they came to take her out. But we were here by mistake as well. So now they know we're here, which sucks. It's pretty much where I'm at with it, I think.
Smith, have you heard about? I think you have.
Yeah, I think that I've met one before.
I think so too.
It was a very tense meeting. Didn't go well.
Do you remember where it was?
I think Evervale. I think I was making a report, and it was just kind of an accidental run-in. And I was introduced to this person.
Smith, have you met this man? Way of the Grass, they call him. Be careful. Don't want to turn him upside down. They'll rip you
Why?
upside down. Why? They're told, or at least they've been saying, that they can dance upon the breeze of the Spellwind. They also can, like a spider, they wait for someone to pull the strings of their web. I don't know if we'll ever need to use them, but we have them just in case. Smith, this is Ariok.
A gentleman turns around, a large purple cowl. You see that he has deep blue eyes that seem to be smoking with blue light. The cowl also wraps around his face and gives you a subtle bow of the head. You notice on the cut-off sleeves, there are these concentric circles that also match the same glowing resonance and cyan of the runes and the concentric circles of the Arcane that depict something in some sort of arcane language across his arms.
What's with the eyes?
Oh, don't talk to him. He's working.
The eyes look down at you for a moment. And though you may be the same height, you feel it as if he's looking down at you.
I think it's best we make our way out. Ariok? Good seeing you.
Staring the whole time.
Hey,
I don't look away.
come on, sweet.
Ariok still staring at you. Flames licking from its eyes, from their eyes, and you start to see, I think, a shimmer as their tattoos start to then have like a wave of bright light, as if they sort of activated something. They turn and walk away.
I have, maybe, behind my back, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I have my fingers bent into, well, they're sort of intertwined. And I just kind of release the thought.
I think at this moment, this person known as Ariok, still staring at you, goes to turn, and as they do, they don't make a complete rotation before they disappear. You see a distortion happen in the area around where they were standing. I think a plume of arcane energy is what you see. The plume of only the masters and those who are sanctioned to use it. The Spellwind sort of snap into the place where they were. And then we're back in the keep.
Like I said, very sorry about all of this. If you have any information about who this could be, well, of course, be all ears. But be careful.
I look at Varsha one more time.
I look pleading, like, can we please tell them? Because I don't know too much about them.
They were sent by the God King.
You know who it is? You know,
I don't know who.
Maybe, yeah. Just by the way that you're describing it, it sounds like...
They are known as the Way of the Grasp.
The what?
The Way of the Grasp.
You start to see, they were saying at this moment, start to look really anxious. I mean, he starts to... I lost the words, but yeah, he starts to then sort of adjust his stance and sort of look over toward Brakida. Brakida has also a mark on her face, but it doesn't have pigment. It's on their face. It doesn't have pigment, but it is scarred. And they look at each other, and I think Dosane just subtly or subconsciously rubs the back of his neck where that mark is, as
what do we do?
I look to Smith, like...
I look back and... This is what they do.
We're not even in their kingdom. We're on the outskirts. We have no reign here.
You misunderstand your present situation. The God King does not see this as outskirts of the kingdom. The God King sees this as the next conquest.
Fine.
Surely if... And I'm looking between the two of them who were previously marked and Smith. The more of us there are to... You know, maybe that's why we pass through here instead of around. If they're coming here to pick them off, isn't it better that we're, more of us? Maybe we can help.
Blue Falls has always been very good at keeping its...
It looks over towards Yuru for any sort of encouragement.
It's always been a seat of defensible location. If they're ever to try and...
You've seen how they breach your defenses. They don't need to send an army. They kill off your leaders. They kill off your spellkin. Then your defense can crumble.
If I may,
Yes?
who are they there for? They killed her. She was a spellkin, no? She was marked. Were they after her? Or us? And
I
do you
don't
have
know.
any more spellkin? Do you have any more marked from the Empire?
Well, there's myself. You,
Points to Varsha.
as far as marked. That's it. That I'm aware of.
Looks over towards Brakita.
And what about her? Did she used to work for the God King and then come here?
No. They, when they were younger, they cut their face because I was marked, and it was. I didn't want him to be alone. They marked themselves.
So what do we do? I'm
I don't know.
afraid.
We could.
Sorry. Go
Please,
on.
I'm also flustered. Please, what were you going to say?
It's not my place, but I'm afraid that if we stay, more will happen. But I'm also afraid that if we go,
More will happen.
right?
Look at Varsha. What do you think?
If you have to go, it's not a big deal. It's not really. We could probably do our best if you can, but
I think I'm staring at her mark and the idea that she marked herself so that he wouldn't be alone. Themselves, sorry.
Mhm,
So that he wouldn't be alone. And I think I look at Smith with determination and a tenacity. And I feel like he will probably agree with me if he doesn't already want to do this for. Yeah. So I think there's probably a reason why we're here. And if they'll be coming for us anyway, it's probably better that we don't face them alone. But I
So
don't
we
know them
stick
like
together?
you do. I think so, yeah. We either leave and they catch up with us eventually anyway, or we stay and try to help. And maybe we have a chance of fighting them off. I don't know them like you do, Smith.
I looked at Ty. Do you know these people at all? Have you heard of them?
Nah.
They're like our boogeymen, sort of. They hunt down sworn or spellkin that defect, basically.
Explains a few things.
Like,
Varying members of the Entente that have ended up like her over the years.
Yeah.
And when do they stop?
Never. When their target is dead. And then they move to the next one.
Or when their target gets him.
So I'm not sure if whatever it may be, but if you need to go, I understand.
You realize that Dosane's been monologuing this whole time. Trying to, probably talking to himself more than he's been talking to all of you. But you can definitely tell it's nervous rambling.
You think we can handle it, Smith?
We've got the title father here. We also
Never
have
had a chance to fight one.
Oh. I'm crestfallen. If you've never... Great.
But,
The boogeyman's boogeyman.
I never called him the boogeyman.
And what do you call them?
I call him the same as anyone else. When they've done something that calls me to them. Dead. You'll stay. But we can't make a promise that there won't be more. We can't protect you forever.
No worries, I understand. Stay as long as you want. Food is on us, right?
Brakida rolls their eyes.
Hey. Thank you. Idle Father will watch us here. If there is any other... we have the Title Father. We've got the flow of the blood from his very own home himself. We've got the Title Father, we'll be fine.
Start to notice that he's repeating himself for his own comfort.
Feel free to
Listen,
stay.
mate.
Yes.
Don't worry about it, all right? We ain't their targets anymore. They're ours.
You see, he just sort of walks off. Brakida and I think he start a conversation.
I gotta get going back to the upflow. There is it's about to be busy. All right, let's go then. Thank you.
You've noticed at this point the High Elf Oster has already disappeared during that conversation.
So what do we
Let's
do
see
now?
Well, they got into the city somehow. So we need to start spreading out and see if we can find any evidence of them entering the city anywhere.
I say we get some breakfast.
Oh,
am
God, I'm
starving.
starving.
Me too. Wait up!
Let's make it quick then.
Let's go.
Hey, that was nuts. Sorry, we went a little bit over today, everybody. Let me put on some music. Where the hell is all my music? We're gonna go around and oh Jesus, shout ourselves out and stuff, and talk about the episode. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. More self role playing than I think I've ever done before, so that was a lot of fun in a D&D sense. So that was cool.
Myth, I had a moment where I just became acutely aware, oh, you're not in a scene with someone. That's you role playing with yourself. But for like 5 minutes, I just was listening. I was, I just forgot.
It was a lot of fun.
That it was just you. Yeah.
I see why Whack does
So
it.
good.
Yeah, it was tons of fun. So we're going to go around, say hi and stuff, and bye and things. What an episode. My brain is melted. Whack, start us off.
Hey everybody, I'm Wax Steven. I played Smith for you today. Thank you so much as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. And seeing Smith have a fucking breakdown.
That was sick.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He's not okay. He is not okay.
The best part about that is that I think that it might have actually been us. Now that we know who it is. Oh God.
Yeah, I had a sneaking suspicion.
We might be responsible.
Yep.
Inadvertently. Sort of, maybe.
You might be responsible, not us. Not us. Entente.
That's
yeah,
right.
blameless.
Yeah.
That's the word I would use to describe you.
So thank you so much for watching that. If you want to watch some of the other stuff that I do, I run Rhyme of the Frost Maiden on Fridays. Myth is in that. He's fantastic. We are just very close to the end right now, and it's been so good. And I hope you check that out. That's on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. And we are going to be running a shill show soon. Shill show soon. That's going to be in 2 Saturdays. So June the 11th, we're going to have a shill show here. It's going to be a D&D one-shot. So make sure you check that out. If you're unsure what a shill show is, then you should check that out, because we're going to be acting stupid and trying to help keep the lights on for Table Story. So make sure you check that out, and we're going to have a good time. So thank you.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for Smith today. Thank you for like that scene in the beginning with all the hyperventilating had me worried and anxious. So I think that was obviously the point, was us to take, for you to take us with you through that ride. And it was really well done. So thank you for that. And it was really cool to see Smith sort of at a point where he wasn't in control. So that was awesome. Thank you. Jet. Meyer.
Hello, my name is Jet, and my name is Meyer. I play Jet. Which one do you want? Because you said Jet, then you said Meyer. You confused me.
Jameyer.
Dallas.
Jameyer. Hey, my name's anyway. My name is Meyer, and I played Jet today. Today was a lot of fun. It was very cool being like a character who is there. Obviously, like, you know, this was like Smith's like moment, right? Like everything was on Smith's shoulders. From Jet's perspective, somebody died, but he wasn't quite too sure exactly why things were necessarily going that way internally within the group. But it was really, really interesting, kind of like feeling that emotion, you know, like from Whack. He really sold it. I was like, I need to get there and make sure he doesn't pass out. It was
Yeah, right?
Yeah, man. Like, but yeah. But yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/Meyer, where I do roleplay stuff, I do Star Citizen stuff, I do hosting stuff. This Saturday, I'll be hosting the Stanton 7. It's a Star Citizen in-universe racing competition. This week is race
with the
number
mules?
2. No, that's something on my channel. The Stanton 7 is like this like big server, like community-wide thing that they do, and I'm just one of the guys who like commentates on all these really crazy racers.
I'm just one of the guys. Okay.
I'm just one of the guys.
That's
But,
right.
I'm just somebody doing something super awesome.
I mean, I don't like to brag or anything, but anyway, so That's me. You can find me on the things, in the links that are in chat and in the description and stuff. But thank you for watching. I hope to be there next time and not.
Hey, thank
what
you
was that
so
about?
much. Hey.
Thank you. Okay,
Hey,
how
it's
do I
me.
stop this
Hey,
thing?
it's me here to save you. Thank you so much, buddy. Brad?
You can't save me.
I know.
This
This one's all on you.
This
all
ship is
you,
going down. If you want to watch a sinking ship, the sinking ship that is my life, you can watch my Twitch channel. It will only be available for probably about 3 or 4 more days before they take me away. Someone, probably Twitch, maybe actual authorities. This was very fun. I enjoyed being spellbonded, and
Spellbeamed.
I enjoyed being in a jail cell. Almost definitely has spent half of his life in one and is not, and is fine.
Not at all. Plus.
And the trial was very cool. It's really hard to do. I know how difficult it can be to DM something like this because it's like a lot of faffing around and you don't want it to be too long, but like really trials are like really long and boring, so like making it interesting but also making it fun with like magic and stuff was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just the whole thing was great.
Thank you.
It was fun to do. Like, I don't know how you did it. You basically did a murder mystery and a trial episode in one, and it only went over by 25 minutes. That was how.
In there. It's because there was a break. See? There was
It was good though. It was really good. I enjoyed it all.
Hell yeah. Thank you, buddy. Go follow Brad. Twitch.tv/BradWodo.
Mm-hmm.
He's been streaming Star Wars, my favorite, Fallen Order. That's the one.
GD.
It's awesome. It's real good. Check it out.
Or you can go to tablestory.tv/twat.
Yep. It will take you to my channel.
It will actually redirect you to Brad.
Perfect.
We didn't even have to add that link. It just
It just
It
was
just
there.
came
itself.
with the URL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came with the URL.
yeah.
So interesting. EB?
Oh, yes, I exist. Right. I'm Pumpkinberry. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at Pumpkinberry. But if you would like, you should watch Kingmakers instead of going to my channel, which is here on Tuesdays. And a lot of cool people are in it. And it's amazing and it's wonderful. And I'm very proud of everybody and everything in it. So that's it. And that's it. Goodbye.
It's so good. And that's it. Goodbye. But it's so good. You should all go check it out. It's amazing. Really awesome and cool take on magic. If you like this cool take on magic, you're going to love her cool take on magic. It's just really fucking sweet. Check it out. As for me, hi, everybody. I am Mathematic. I stream on Tuesdays. And that's it, really. I'm also doing... I just did a... my brain sucks right now. What else was I about to say? Something about my channel. Doesn't matter. Go follow it. Follow my Twitter. Or
What
don't.
do you do on Tuesdays?
I stream The Barman, which is
Yes.
a criminal mastermind of Van Horn. Go check him out. Or you can check out the video or movie that I made on YouTube. And I'm really trying to think about maybe possibly doing some forging streams soon because I'm getting some commissions, which are super cool. So that's sweet. But as for us, we're going to come back.
Peachy's porn music.
Are you playing
That's it.
as the barman tonight?
What a great question.
I
What a
ask only
great
because
question.
I've made Gavin Summers
Sounds
27
very
minutes
loaded.
late, so it might change what we do tonight.
Oh, then yes.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Then we're going to come and get you and make you pay for
Well,
this.
I got 27 minutes
this
then.
time.
All right, perfect. All right, but that's it. I don't know what else I was about to say, but come by for Rime of the Frost Maiden on Friday, and come see Kingmakers on Tuesday. Be well, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and tell great stories. We're out. Bye. Wait for the ending. Wait for the ending. We're not gonna wait for the ending.
What?
Wait, this one.
Which
What?
ending? I mean,
What? Help!
Perfect. Nailed it.